Welcome to the most anticipated comparison of modern compact video cameras, the Panasonic GH5 against the new Fujifilm XH1. Coming up! Hey there everybody, my name is Paul, I'm from Germany. You might have already noticed my German accent. Anyway, on this channel I'm focusing on tech reviews as well as filmmaking, so if you are interested in that, consider subscribe. In today's video I'm reviewing and comparing the new Fujifilm XH1 to the well-known Panasonic GH5. The Fujifilm has some very interesting video features as well, and I want to give you as a filmmaker my thoughts on it. To make it as fair as possible, I filmed everything in 8-bit and I'm recording now simultaneously with the Fujifilm and the Panasonic GH5, so that you can take your own opinion which color or which image you like the most. So let's start. Talking about the picture quality, I think both cameras are equal in terms of sharpness and detail and also dynamic range. But from colors, Fujifilm is well known for its colors and most people love the Fujifilm colors. And when I compare the footage to each other, I think the Fujifilm looks a little less contrasty and less saturated as the Panasonic, but that's totally fine. Both cameras can record in log. Fujifilm it's f-log, on the Panasonic it's v-log. The v-log, from my opinion, looks way less contrasty and way less saturated, and I think overall the v-log gives you a little bit more detail to play around with the colors. But on the other hand, the f-log was way easier to grade, but that's also a personal preference. Talking about the build quality, I think the build quality of both cameras is equal. Both of them feel very solid in the hand and they are both weather sealed as well. So from this point of view, I think there are no differences. The only difference is that the Fujifilm has no headphone jack like the Panasonic GH5. That's very unfortunate for monitoring audio. Both cameras claim to have an awesome image stabilization. The Panasonic GH5 is already well known for its image stabilization, and on the other hand the Fujifilm claims to be the same. From my perspective, the image stabilization on the Panasonic GH5 looks very natural and very smooth, whereas on the Fujifilm it looks smooth as well, but it looks very jittery and robotic, and I think this can be fixed in an update. But just for now, the image stabilization of the GH5 is way better than on the Fujifilm. The GH5 is also well known that its low light capability is not very good at all. So I tested both cameras in low light and I really have to say that the Fujifilm is way better, way less noise, and overall I think you can use this camera in up to 10,000 ISO, whereas the Lumix GH5, the image starts to fall apart about 6400 ISO, and the image of the Fujifilm looks still quite good with ISO 6400. Both cameras can also record in slow motion in 1080p in up to 120 frames per second. To be honest, the Panasonic can record in up to 180 frames per second, but to make it as fair as possible, I also recorded it in 120 frames per second. And as for my opinion, the image looks on both cameras really sharp, no aliasing and all that kind of stuff, no losing details here, so pretty good slow motion on both of these cameras. So video autofocus is always a topic when it comes to modern video consumer cameras, and I can tell you that from my testing, none of these cameras were better than each other one. They both are quite inconsistent and I wouldn't really rely on each of them. So still Canon is on top when it comes to video autofocus. The Panasonic GH5 has improved a bit and I think it's slightly better than the Fujifilm, but that's something that also can be improved via firmware updates. But from my personal opinion, I wouldn't rely on them if I had to. Talking about usability, I like the system of the GH5 a little bit more, but that's just because I'm so used to the GH5. Also, the Fujifilm on the other hand was not confusing or something like that, but I personally prefer the system of the GH5, which is a little bit more intuitive in my opinion. And talking about the battery life, I think this is on both identical as well. So guys, to wrap it up, in the end I do prefer the GH5 more because of the gorgeous 4K 60, also the 10-bit recording and the internal image stabilization, and it is also more affordable than the XH1. The XH1 on the other hand is a great camera as well. I do love the kit lens that it comes with, really great lens. The colors on the Fujifilm look good as well. But the total deal breaker for me is the 15-minute recording limit, and with battery grip it's about 30 minutes. And also you just have the headphone jack if you buy the battery grip. That's a total deal breaker for me. I totally don't understand that. But overall I think the GH5 has more advantages over the XH1, and that's why I would choose the GH5 over the XH1. So guys, that was my review about the XH1 in comparison with the GH5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did so, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel. By the way, all the products that I use are linked down below, so if you want to support this channel, I really appreciate that. So see you guys in my very next video. Cheers!